We're snorting cap rates and shooting up cash flow here at Deal Junkies. Welcome back to Deal Junkies. You're not going to believe it. We have a special guest today, Jordan Brown. Jordan is our storage guru. We could not live life without Jordan. He is one of our favorite partners. I'm Gabe Johansson here in the studio today with Dane McKinney, Trevor Howard. Jordan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Are you really excited?
I'm super excited.
I just called Jordan.
Are you excited?
I've been wanting to jump on with you guys for a hot minute. So
I don't think you're as excited as we are. All right. So Jordan you own 1,200 plus units of storage. You're currently under contract to buy another one. You're also a coach for Storage Life. You're all things storage. You don't buy any other real estate. You just own and operate, manage storage, self-storage.
I have duplex, triplex, some office space, flex space, but my main focus is storage.
So you are a commercial real estate investor and operator. And tell us, so let's go back in time just a little bit. You're a pretty young guy. How old are you?
33.
Oh, 33. All right. You look younger than that.
You look jacked too. Have you been getting back after it?
Trying
the twins will really get you.
Yeah, the twins were rough. They're about 11 months now, so
you're back.
I'm kind of getting back in the
You just hold
swing.
one in each hand and curl all day long.
Yeah, they're like 25 pounds now. So
how old are your twins?
11 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do they sleep?
They've been sleeping really well until like this last week has been weird. But yeah, all my kids, I have a 3-year-old as well. We're super blessed. They sleep through the night
pretty good?
Yeah.
Would you recommend people have twins? Is that a good idea?
No comment. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I
that's
love
the question you won't answer, dude.
Yeah, that's the question.
So my older two girls are like 22 months apart, and it felt like they were twins because they were both still in diapers or whatever. And I was like, I can't even imagine somebody having twins. That's got to be a lot of work.
Yeah, when we talk about the Corvallis property, I'll talk. We closed on that. The twins were born a week before that. So
when we partnered up,
yeah, it was a crazy time, but it's fun.
Okay, so take us back. We want to hear about you. Tell us a little bit about your life, how you got started, what led you into real estate. Give us the synopsis of how does Jordan Brown become Jordan Brown.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, growing up, came from a really, really hardworking mother that set the example to work hard, and she worked multiple jobs to support us kids, and never really made much money, even though she busts her butt. But ultimately, I was kind of always obsessed with having financial freedom.
Was she a single mom?
My parents split up when I was a freshman.
Okay.
Yeah. So
mom was working her butt off to take care of you guys. How many kids?
There's 4 of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And
where are you at in that stack?
I'm the second oldest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But, I was fortunate enough where my grandfather, he had a couple rentals and owned real estate, and he owned a storage facility, the first one that I acquired. But he really set the example. He used to always tell me, you're either paying rent or collecting rent.
I like your grandpa.
Yeah. So that, for him, looking back, obviously he was very risk adverse where, paying cash with everything. So I'm like, gosh, Grandpa, you could have been, so much bigger. Yeah. But he set that example of buy assets and don't have liabilities. So fast forward, I went to school. Got through when I was in college. I did door-to-door sales and sold alarm systems. Did that for about 5 years. Managed a group of guys. Would go out to Texas and was able to make decent money there. Luckily, I saved my money and then I started approaching my grandfather saying, hey, I want to get into real estate. Started listening to Bigger Pockets, reading all the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, kind of the same story with everyone. And really just started approaching, okay, hey, do I go down, the resi side? Can I get into commercial? Should I go build a storage facility? Asking these questions, trying to get advice from him. And I know he was kind of slowing down. He was kind of early dementia phases. We didn't know at that point, but I was just like, hey, if you want to sell your facility to me, like I've been working for a few years, I got some money. I'd love to buy it. So then we structured that, and he trusted me enough to choose to sell it to me. And then I kind of just went sole focus.
Did he put you on a contract?
Yeah. So it's a seller finance note that we did, and we kind of went back and forth quite a bit to structure that and what made sense. Ultimately, it was, he didn't want to pay taxes. So we structured the note accordingly.
Well, you're the one who really got it into my mind. What is it? You can collect like $84,000 a year in principal tax free.
Yeah. So married, filing jointly, I think this year is now like 94.
Yeah.
So, if you have a seller finance note, obviously the interest payments will be taxable.
Ordinary income, yeah. But
yeah. And then the principal will be capital gains. So if you're under that threshold, it's taxed at 0% long term.
Why? Because you're under
you're
the
under
limits?
Yeah, long-term capital gains up to 94,000. So
is exempt?
Is zero. Yeah, 0% tax.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, so we structured it. I was going to pay him more, and he said, no, I don't want to pay taxes.
So you got a good deal. You're cash flowing right out of the gate?
It was, yeah. And, looking back, it was kind of like when you do your first deal and you don't know enough at the time, and you jump into it, and then looking back, you're like, holy crap, that's going to be the best deal I'll ever buy.
Yeah.
And, mom and pop below, 40-50% below market rates. There was other spaces on the property that weren't being rented. No website, no online presence.
A lot of low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. An easy lift.
so did
value
you
add.
negotiate your grandpa really hard?
Not on purchase price at all. We kind of went back and forth on an interest rate, and then I was wanting to pay him more so I could pay it off a little quicker. But he wanted essentially longevity and retirement for him and my grandmother.
Did you pay him off?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, I've owned it for 7 years.
But Grandpa's still around?
He passed earlier this year.
So the note goes to his estate?
Going to my grandma. And then when she passes, the remainder will go to the beneficiaries.
Okay.
But now you're thinking about moving those notes around and helping your grandma out more, right? And like cashing it out and getting some return on her equity or her debt.
Yeah, so I'm under contract on another deal right now where we're looking to deploy some of that equity.
So what point in your door-to-door knocking did you start thinking about real estate? Like what kind of led you to, hey, I need to generate some income in an easier way than, door-to-door has got to be the hardest lesson you can learn in life. Yeah,
that job sucks. Holy cow.
But you did it for 5 years.
I did, because I would go, it was funny, my first summer, I went out, I made more money than I would make with my marketing degree from my, college experience. I was still in college, but at that point, it kind of like opened my eyes of, okay, maybe there's another way to make more money. And the good thing with the company I was with, a lot of very successful people that are still within the company, but then a lot of people that have then branched out to do their own things, and just ultimately surrounding myself with other individuals that had more of an abundance mindset, thought bigger. And that's kind of where I'm like, okay, how do I buy assets? How do I make it to where, I'm not going to struggle. My family won't struggle.
How many doors were you knocking every day?
Oh, geez. I didn't count that. I would focus on how many pitches I could get at the door.
Okay.
Because I knew if I could get into someone's door and sit down at your couch or your table, 1 in 3 I was going to close.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Okay. That's high.
If I could sit down.
Yeah.
So
how many do you think you had to talk to sit down with? That's 3 of them.
If I can get my full pitch out, I'd say, to sit down with 3 is probably like 10 to 15.
Oh, that's not bad at all then.
Yeah.
And what are you selling for? Like what range are you, because you have upsells and all that, I'm assuming, but what is the solar, or it's a alarm system?
I did like
cost?
Smart homes and alarms. Yeah.
What does it cost?
Monthly, anywhere from like 60 at the time, it was like 60 to $100 depending on if you wanted more cameras and automation. But that was one thing, my, contract values were really high. I typically sold a lot of automation side, so my commissions were a lot higher.
How much do you get on a commission on a typical sale of one of those?
if you're like, it depends on if you're a first year rep or like a manager, obviously. But I was typically, after my second year, I mean, I make $800 to $1,000 per sale.
Okay. And you're selling multiple a day?
Some days, my best day was 5.
And are you only doing summers at that time too?
That time, yeah. So it was kind of crazy. You know, I'd go out and in 3.5 months, I'd, make more money than my parents.
Like 80 to 120 grand or whatever.
In 3 months.
You're like, why the hell am I going to college right now? And
that was my thought.
I did door-to-door sales too.
Did you?
One day.
Yeah.
My buddy
shows.
No. Because I bought my first couple deals door knocking. I went around my neighborhood and I knocked on everyone's doors and I bought a deal that way. I just looked at who was selling in the neighborhood and it was expired and I went and knocked on all their doors and I bought one of them. But my buddy was selling solar and I was doing that. And I went with him. He was in New Mexico. We were playing a basketball tournament. I was visiting him. And they were like, we got to work in the morning. So they were knocking doors doing solar. I was like, I'll go with you. And we do this just in the ghetto in freaking New Mexico. And they're looking at all the roofs. And I'm like, I don't think we can even put solar on any of these roofs. And there they have these wild doors. So they open their door really quietly. And it's a one-way screen door. So you're standing there and you don't even know when like they're there or not. I did not make any sales
in one day. So tell me some of the lessons you learned from door-to-door knocking.
Man, there's a lot of I would say like soft skills that you're able to communicate more effectively, relate to people, and then ultimately just having more grit and pushing through something that sucks. I was big into different sports growing up, so I love the team aspect of it. So, being around a group of 15, 20 guys where Monday through Saturday you're just busting your butt and everyone's like, man, this is the worst job I'll ever have in my life. But it really brings together a team aspect.
Some camaraderie.
Exactly.
You played college baseball too, right?
Yeah, a little bit until I blew my shoulder out. I kind of bounced around a few schools but never got healthy.
So you like being in the trenches. You liked it's like being in battle or jail.
Yeah. I should say I don't like it, but I'm willing to have some short-term suffering for a better future.
But you liked the camaraderie that it built because you were all suffering together.
Yeah. So the company I was with does a really good job at doing competitions throughout the whole year, and they have big prizes. So at the end of in August, you'd have the cup, and it was kind of like a March Madness bracket where you go head to head with another office. And they have big prizes. I mean, you have like cruises and vacations and stuff if you win. So my team always went really deep in the tournament and the cup. And it was super fun because you're out there just grinding. And, I remember I knocked on one lady's door at like 10 o'clock at night.
And dude, what the heck?
Yeah.
I was trying to win the cup.
No, you were. Yeah. It's super late. And you just start off like, hey, so I'm so sorry it took me so long to get here. Like the neighbors told you I was coming by, right? Like, what? No. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll be super fast. And then quick pitch, I got in and it was like, typically I'm not doing that on a normal day, but like I said, this was in the championship my second year, and this was like, if we win, we get like all expenses paid trip. And I remember I walked out of that house at like 12, it was like midnight. A technician showed up at like 12:05 to install this alarm system.
That night?
Yeah. Because if we can get it in the house and installed, people keep it. If you give them time, like they have buyer's remorse. Yeah. So that was obviously like an extreme situation, but because of the team aspect, because of the competition, it's like I am not leaving this house until I can get it in the sale.
No way.
I love that. That's a great story.
That's so sick.
What else did you learn? What did you take from door-to-door security sales that led you into real estate besides just not wanting to do that job? Are there some skills that you learned in building systems or tracking metrics or anything that translates over for you, or is it just all soft skills, people skills?
I think it's people skills, and then now and like building relationships, and now especially with a lot of things, trying to find off market properties. It's kind of a numbers game from that point. I know the more off market properties that I call, people I talk to, more mail campaigns I send out, like I'm going to get a hit eventually.
That's a good point, because a lot of people would be afraid to pick up the phone or knock on the door or go chase something when it's like, oh, they don't know why I'm calling and after you've knocked on doors for 5 years, you're just completely impervious to rejection. Like I'm sure you've been called every name in the book, cussed out, dogs chasing you, the whole thing. Like, I mean, you've got to have some good stories around that. But the number one thing I take from sales, period, especially door to door, is learning how to deal with rejection.
Yeah, 100%.
So today, you're not, when you pick up the phone, you call an off-market property, like rejection is not even probably in the back of your mind. You're like, I don't even care if they say no, because I'll just call the next one.
Right. Yeah, because it's like, I know, and I'll talk to someone and it could be a mom and pop facility. I drive by it, as I'm traveling, and I'm like, okay, I need to buy that one. I call them. No, I'm not interested. Okay, I appreciate the time. Well, I'm going to call you back in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and I'm just going to keep calling back, because they're not going to remember who I am. But they can tell me no 7, 10 times, and until I can then have a little more of a conversation, because everyone's going to sell eventually.
Is that how you're sourcing most of your deals now? Is just hitting the phones?
I still call a little bit here and there. I do have a VA that does a lot of calling and skip tracing and building out my own personal list of facilities. And then for some of like my trophy assets, I'll send out like mail campaigns and stuff every quarter.
So did you land in storage because of grandpa, or was that just something you, like, once you got going, you're like, oh, I love this, I understand it? All those things you talked about, like online presence, there were different areas of the property that had not been activated, other income streams. Like, you didn't know that the day you bought it. You learned that. So that first property is kind of what taught you how to maximize that asset so that you could take that business model and duplicate it forward, correct?
Yeah, it was kind of cool, because it took me a little longer to finish college because I was working more doing the door-to-door sales, and I had to, like, one more semester when I finished my last summer, I approached my grandpa to buy, and he was the MBA director at Utah State University, and it was like the only class I ever took that was helpful, because we had to take a shout out to Chad Albrecht, but we basically had to take a business and say, okay, where's the revenue? How's the sales? How's the marketing? Like, where's some aspect that you can improve? So I said, hey, I'm buying this storage facility. Like, can I just do my
You were buying it while you were in college?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just about to graduate. But so I did a full underwriting on this property, and I was like, okay, this is where the revenue is now. Where's the market competition? Where's the market rates? Can I push rates? Can I add online presence? Can I add software? And then I was like, okay, well, then if I expand on the property and build more, what does that look like? So I did like a full underwriting before I even knew what that was. So going into it, the property, I kind of expected myself to, I was going to pay myself like roughly $2,000 a month. I was like, well, if I stay full, it's going to be, $3,000. Cool. So my wife's working, I can go get another job, and that'll be some nice extra income. After doing my underwriting, I was like, man, these rates are low, these rates are low, these rates are low. So, within the first, 4 months, I kind of came in, implemented that plan, increased my bottom line an extra $50,000, increased the property, $600,000, at day one. So it was kind of cool to take that into effect.
Was your professor, was he thinking like this is a cool deal, or was he like, who the hell wants to own storage? Because you're the only one probably doing a real estate analysis in that whole class. Yeah.
It was. He thought it was really cool, especially like when I got into showed my underwriting.
And you were actually buying it, which is a cool thing. Like, everyone has these made up.
Chad wanted his deal, man. He was going to try to steal his deal.
But Gabe, to answer, kind of go back on that question, where I decided I want to focus on storage after that fact was, listening to different real estate podcasts. Say, okay, I kind of had my goal of, I want to have house hack and buy a duplex, live in it, which I did. And then,
so you started with the storage complex, though.
I did, yeah. But there was a duplex on the property, so I lived in one side for like a year before we bought our next property. And but my goal was to have, okay, I'll do 5% down, owner occupied loans, and just house hack for a few years. And I had my goals to then get up to multifamily along with the storage. And then once I got into like the operations side of it, like, holy cow, like there's so much automation in this now. I was like, it frees up a lot of time
on the storage side.
Yeah,
dude, if we bought that storage complex without you, we would be drowning. We wouldn't have bought it, honestly, but
yeah, that's how we met Jordan. First time I met Jordan, these guys said, hey, we're partnering with Jordan. He's going to run our storage complex.
like, who's Jordan?
Who's Jordan?
Yeah.
How many units is that we bought?
163, 168
162.
In Corvallis?
Yeah.
How's that project running?
We've had some ups and downs.
Better than I projected, though.
Yeah.
Other than when it burnt down, it's been fine.
Yeah. Other when it burnt down and
But only one building burnt down.
yeah, Trevor and Dane are out of the country. I'm in Hawaii.
You're in Hawaii. You call me and we're in Greece, and you were like, "Hey, our self storage burnt down," and I was like, "What are we gonna do about that right now?"
Don't worry, I got it. Yeah, that's the one thing about storage is it's
Flammable.
yeah. That's why we're gonna build. We'll build.
One thing about storage,
It's flammable.
Yeah. Well, I had a fire in 2020 on my other facility, so that was.
That one was a little bigger.
So yeah, because for the listeners, Jordan came and spoke at our event and gave a whole presentation on like how he built his storage portfolio, and he shows pictures of this complex he bought, and the whole town is on fire, and it's this giant photo of like, holy shit, we're miles away, and it's just insane.
Yeah.
And like, so now for you, you're like, oh, only one building burnt down, not that bad.
I know this was like kind of a cakewalk after that first one, and I'm actually grateful. Like I bought the property for my grandfather, and that fire was like 8 months later. So I'm like, if he had to go through that, I don't think he would have been able to.
Yeah.
And that was
How much of your first complex burned?
it was like 30%.
Okay.
I was super fortunate.
Did you have insurance set up properly? Because you bought it at seller carry, so you might not even know what insurance was at that time.
You might not have even known what insurance
Dude, like,
was.
honestly, you're
Trevor
a
said.
college kid buying a property. If you're buying it with a loan, they make you place insurance. If your grandpa doesn't make you place it, you might have gone without any insurance.
Well, yeah. So it was obviously a lot of things in life you don't want to go through, but are good learning processes and experiences. That was one of them. I had insurance in place. However, I kind of just rolled over the policy that he had.
Yeah.
And,
Did you become additionally insured just on his, or did you take it over?
No. Well, I basically just sent it to, I got my own policy and I said, hey, just kind of match the coverage.
Yeah.
The big learning lesson was I thought I had loss of business income on it. And as I read the declaration page, I kind of thought I did. Turns out I didn't.
So you lost 30% of your income overnight.
Cool part was he was really under rented and it worked at that. So once you raise those rents, you're still good.
I've looked at those policies, and the loss of income riders are very inexpensive.
Yes.
It's like, literally, it's like $10 a month or something.
Yeah.
It's something ridiculously low.
You're spot on. $100,000 of a year for loss of income insurance was $18 a month.
There you go.
So after the fact, I went to my agent. I'm like, why the hell would you not automatically include this?
That should just be a given.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then another thing learned with that, obviously, was the insurance companies are, hey, we want to just make you whole. We want to get you paid out as soon as you can. And I just like, nope, I'm getting bids on everything. And I was able to raise the payout like an additional $90,000. But it was during COVID. Steel prices were skyrocketing. Labor was increasing. So I still had to come out of pocket like $100,000 after the fact. But like I said, I learned a lot. I learned a lot of stuff on the construction side, which then led into my second opportunity for my second facility, which was super helpful.
Could you speak to because you see this a lot where you bought it from your grandpa and now it sounds like you got a really good deal, but how it's a really good deal for him because he bought it for so much cheaper. He no longer has to manage it. He makes the same amount of money. Like, why would he sell it to you for seemingly such good terms and price, and how is that a good deal for him?
Yeah. Ultimately he wanted an annuity. He wanted set income for the rest of his life and for, my grandmother, his spouse. And someone who's owned this property for the last 25, 30 years, he knows how it's performed, the cash flow. and then the upside. So coming in and being someone that he could trust, that he knew I would run it effectively and grow it. He knew his set payments were relatively safe at that point.
Were you telling him like 6 months in, like, yeah, my property is worth $1 million more and I'm cash flowing way more too? Like, here's what I did.
No, I never. I never told him that. He knew that I was doing well, and then it was about 5 years, and then kind of towards the end, his mind was slipping, and we kind of got into some butting heads a little bit, and then at one point I kind of just said what it was bringing in, and because he looked at it where he's like you have all these units empty, and
he thought you were doing worse.
Yeah, and I'm
you're
like,
dude, I raised rates.
He's like, I was always full, and I'm like, well,
that's bad.
Yeah, but you were bringing in 152,000. Now I'm grossing over 300. Like, I don't care about my occupancy at that point.
Yeah.
So I want to focus on revenue.
That's a really big mind shift change. I didn't understand that until I listened to AJ Osborne speak on storage. And I always thought that storage was kind of I don't know. I was told that it was one of those things that in a downturn you get a lot more vacancy because it's kind of a luxury where people, I've got a bunch of crap. I'm paying a couple $100s a month to let it sit there. Well, now I can't really afford that. Plus I don't, need all this crap anyway. And AJ totally looks at it opposite, and I'm guessing you probably do too, where it was just like, in a downturn, that's exactly what people need is a place to store their stuff because they're downsizing, moving back in with mom and dad or doing whatever they're doing. They need to have a place to go, and you're not really hyper-focused on occupancy if you can get the rates up. It's one of the beautiful things about that asset type is you can buy it, raise the rates. You can go into some of these projects and raise them double, and half your people leave, and you still have the same rent roll, and you got half your project available to rent to new people. I mean, that's something you can't do in any other commercial asset class that I know of.
Yeah, 100%.
Mobile home parks.
Not really. They're protected even on another level than even multifamily.
Now
your landlord tenant laws are pretty strict.
Yeah, I had a call with someone in our community yesterday. They bought a property where it was 97% occupied. And they came in, they were more aggressive on their rent increases than they were originally planning. Now they're sitting at 77% occupied. Most people look at that as a bad thing, but if you look at their
income's
revenue,
higher.
Yeah, they're like, we're making way more money. So, and that's kind of where when I bought my first property, I remember trying to figure out, how, market. I think a 10 by 20 was $100 a month, but the facility right next door was $160. Facility down the other direction was like $150. So I'm like, okay, if that's where the market rates are at, if I raise rates, my first rent bump to $115, how many people have to move out before I'm going to lose money? And that's like my first, rent increase. How I kind of looked at it, I'm like, okay, I can, if 12 people move out. So I did it, and I had like one person move out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do this again in like 4 months.
Because you have no rent control on that.
No.
It's
month-to-month contracts, so no rent control.
Tell us a little bit about the, you're talking about technology and automation. So you came from that world of tech a little bit. So that must have kind of, opened some doors or ideas to you anyway around how to run these self-storage complexes. Tell us a little bit about the automation and tech that's involved in storage today that you don't get in other asset types.
Yeah, well, I think more so with technology was the fact, I think there's still 65% of storage owners are either like single owners or like just mom and pop. They might have one or two facilities. You have some gates and, no cameras. It's just, you go in and rent a unit. So, and now when you look at a lot of these Class A facilities that are getting built, you have gate access control. You can open locks from your phone or from an app. Just adding in a lot more amenities on the tenant side to make a facility feel safer, more secure, is kind of just competitive edge to some of these mom and pops. But then on the technology side, it's really more so on the management side of it, where now. and I'm sure, I mean, obviously with multifamily, you guys have all of your back end support, where storage it was kind of behind the curve, but now we have, softwares that migrate if someone goes to enter their code and, they're delinquent, it's not going to let them in. So then they're going to have to call us to make payments and everything like that. So,
is that software expensive?
No, that ranges from anywhere 150 to 400 a month, depending on which software you go through. So I guess coming, like when I first got in, a lot of these small facilities were still, they're writing on a ledger book if someone's paid and it's checks
and usually
and cash.
there's like an on-site manager. Back in my day, like that's one of the reasons I didn't want to own storage is because you had to have somebody like kind of living on site. You got a little house or an office there with an apartment or something like that. Today, you don't run them like that. Like you just run it off of technology. You don't have people living on site, correct?
Some facilities I do, but not necessarily managing. For me,
more maintenance and cleaning out.
Yeah, boots
units
on the ground. Yeah. So and then you can have COVID was a good thing in the sense of really testing that where you got people out of the office, and then now you can have your call centers that are going to collect payments, rent units, do kind of all those day-to-day stuff, and then where I can remote manage facilities from anywhere.
Okay.
So you basically reached financial independence off one deal.
Yeah. I was kind of like you, Trevor, where I retired at 26, 27.
You had way more cash flow than I did, dude.
Yeah, it was kind of super fortunate, with that first property. And, my wife was a school teacher, and when we had our first kid, I was like, okay, well, what can I do to supplement her income? So I went down the route to go be a financial advisor, got my Series 7 and 66 and all of that.
After you bought that first deal?
After.
So you're like, this storage thing works really well. Let me become a financial advisor.
Yeah. Just ultimately just liking all things investing and finance. I figured I would still enjoy that, but it was funny because I spent 2 years doing that. And right when I got licensed, I had an opportunity to buy my second property and raise capital and bring on investors with that. And my back office is like, oh, you can't do that. That's selling away. You're creating another security. I'm like, all right, peace. I quit.
So you became a syndicator.
Yeah.
With just a close partner, like known partners, or were you actually raising capital from unknown parties?
That one was unknown parties. It was me having the experience from the construction side from the fire allowed me to come in with my business partner who had more capital raising experience at that time.
Okay. So that your partner helped you spearhead the fundraising.
Yeah.
And you did an actual syndication on this.
That one, no. It was structured. It wasn't your typical.
It was just the
70,
JV.
30. It's more of like a mezzanine debt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, well, I guess that is selling a security when you're trading debt too. Sometimes.
Yeah. Because we have like debt partners. We have we have the right in our operating agreement to buy them out at 100, like a 25% back end kicker on their investment.
So they came in as debt with the terms on their return, and they also get an equity kicker as a bonus, but they haven't been paid out. They don't get paid out till the end, either refi or sale event.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So we pay a pref, and then we can buy them out with 25% back.
So they're getting regular cash flow on their money, and they get a piece of the deal.
Yeah.
How did you find this deal?
That's more pref, I think, than mezzanine.
Well, it's basically a convertible note almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is debt because you just use this down payment, right? And then you bank finance it. So you have mezzanine debt where they're financing your gap, and then it's just part of your debt term. I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
a securities attorney.
It just depends on if it's a hard
Dane
pay
is
or
a securities
soft pay.
attorney. He'll
What's
tell you.
a hard pay and a soft pay?
A hard pay means that if you have to pay it
pay it.
every month, and a soft pay means that if you don't pay it, it's okay. You just got to catch up later.
Wouldn't a hard pay be more of like a guaranteed
Hard
return,
pay is like
whereas
that.
pref is
Here's
is
hard
more
pay
of a soft
probably.
pay?
Pref has to be a soft pay by definition.
Mine's a soft pay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is
that's
pref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how'd you find that one?
So that one was actually, it's in Grants Pass, and it was they posted it. It was on market, and I went down right when I saw it, got under contract by kind of a bigger operator down there. And then, they were 60 right before their money went hard and backed out. So then we came in and threw in an offer.
Do you know why they backed out?
Yeah, they wanted to do an expansion and then they wanted to pave. So this facility, it just has gravel driveways. But it was going to be something like $500,000 to add a retention pond and do a lot more work. And so they didn't want to do that. I'm like, well, your 10 by 20s are $100 and I can rent it for $150. I don't care if it's gravel or driveway or not.
Yeah.
So we came in, we raised $1 million for the down payment, and then we had about $800,000 in CapEx, and we didn't expanded on that property. And
So that's a pretty big value add you're doing then.
yeah, that was a pretty big project. So then I oversaw a lot of the GC aspect of it, and then managed it for the first 2 years.
Were you nervous going into that deal because you're raising capital and it's a bigger project?
Once again, it was kind of like first time doing something. I don't really know
what I don't
know. And I was just like, hey man, I need to buy assets.
Yeah.
And I saw it from my first property saying, okay, like there's, essentially a triplex on the property that the owners were living in. I'm like, that's an extra $60,000 a year, $1 million of value add just right there.
So you hit a home run on your first deal. Did that dissuade you from buying other deals because you were trying to match those metrics again?
No, I'm still very much in acquisition mode, but I would say I'm definitely a lot more conservative than a lot of other people, and that's kind of the balance that I have right now, where it's like I don't want to risk what I have and the stability from that, but at the same time, like I need to grow, I need to buy more.
We preach all the time to build your asset column. I'm interested to know what's the fire inside you that tells you to grow your asset column. Like, this is a concept that it seems like it's really hard to get across to people how important it is. And I feel like if there's anything that's going to keep me up at night, it's not buying enough assets. How is it that you have that inside you? Is this something you're instilled in you from a young age, or was it your grandpa, or do you feel like you just have a natural instinct to understand you've seen the numbers and if you're going to achieve the financial freedom you're looking for, that's what it's going to take?
Yeah, great question. I think for me, seeing how much my grandpa helped others and gave made me want to be in a position where I could help others. And then also growing up, seeing a mother that busted her butt and not was just paycheck to paycheck. I was like, I never wanted.
Was this your mom's dad?
Stepdad.
And he wasn't trying to help subsidize her lifestyle in any way?
No, I mean they definitely helped a lot. And
okay.
If it wasn't for them, it would have been a lot well off.
Okay.
Her off. But
so he helped not only other people, but he helped you and your family, which really hits close to home when you see mom struggling and grandpa stepping in to help out.
Yeah. So just coming from the standpoint of I never want my kids to do that. And then I ultimately want to help, other members of my family, get to a point where, if I can hire someone to be an operations manager for me, or I can train them, or I can come in and say, hey, this is how you're going to buy your first property. Like my little brother's 25 and he's kind of been slow to get going in life. And now
you got to be buying a $3 million complex in college.
What's he waiting for?
Right. Yeah. So just trying to be in that position financially where then, I can help others too.
Did you feel like you were different than other kids you went to college with, like in having this dream to own real estate? I think most people finish their degree and go look for a job, and you're already out trying to buy real estate while you're in school. Was there anybody in your life, any of your peers, that thought this was cool or interesting, or they wanted to do it, or were you just a lone wolf? No,
really. It was just me. And then when I got into when I started doing door-to-door is when I met some people who had a lot of rentals and seeing single-family homes. And, at that time.
The customers or your team?
My people on my team.
They own houses and rentals.
Dude, salespeople like that, it's super common. I just met this dude working for Aptive, which is pest control, doing the same thing as you. And he's like, everyone here just wants to own real estate.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy.
So they're working a sales job to earn as much as they can so they can invest in deals.
They say they're knocking doors to own doors.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had a guy on my team who, he'd been knocking doors at that point when I came on, maybe like 7 years. And he had maybe like 12, 15 doors. But, he started buying back in 2010, 2011. Mm-hmm. So he's like, yeah, I'm cash flowing, X amount. He's making $100,000 in just his cash flow. And I'm like, why are you knocking doors?
Yeah. Why was he?
He'd go make, $250,000 in the summer. So to go buy more doors essentially.
So he'd work a few months out of the year, door to door, and the rest of the time he'd just buy and operate real estate.
Yep.
It's a pretty good gig, man.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Sorry, how'd you say you found that second deal?
Guy.
You want to go knock some doors?
I'm thinking about it.
Well, I got a job for you.
We're now hiring.
How'd you say you found that second deal?
Door knocker.
The second deal was actually on market.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then, okay, where'd you go from there?
Yeah. So then it was, for a few years, I was kind of just really focused on the operation side. And, I would look on market or I'd kind of slowly try to build out my pipeline for off-market properties, but I wasn't really focused on acquisitions until really the last year and a half.
What led you? Think about it a lot. It doesn't just happen. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. It's the guys who are spending 40 hours a week doing it that get every deal.
I'm sure it's more than 40 hours.
Well, depends on who you ask.
Trevor thinks about deals 24/7.
Trevor thinks about a lot of stuff. It's not always deals.
What led you? So for the audience, we met Jordan at this thing called Raise Fest. What led you to that event?
Yeah. So before I kind of came on coaching, I was helping raise capital with my business partner, and me and some members of the team went down to that. It's super cool. And then luckily I was wearing my brother-in-law's Oregon State wrestling backpack and ran into Dane.
This is why I love having Dane, because I was at the event. I'm like, I'm so tired of talking to people. I'm going back to the room, and Dane's like, I'm going to go talk to some more people. And then he meets Jordan. And it worked out.
I did not go to any of the sessions at that event. I went to like 2 of the sessions.
You just walked around looking for people with beaver backpacks on?
I listened to Tom.
Did we listen to Tom Bayou? Yeah. Billiou? That was so sick. He's a billionaire. He sold Quest Bar, and he flew in on his jet, gave an hour speech, flew out. I didn't even know he was going to be speaking there. I was listening to his podcast. I was like, this is awesome.
I got 2 things from that whole conversation, the whole speech that he gave. He flew in, like walked on stage with just sweats and a backwards basketball hat. I was like, what in the world is this guy wearing? Keynote speaker. And then the first like 15 minutes of his speech are just him telling everybody in the room. He's like, there's 5,000 of you guys here. Like 4,900 and probably like 50 of you guys aren't ever going to do anything. It was so wild. He was like, most of you guys are just here. You're gonna yap around with everybody. You're gonna shake hands and whatnot. But you're not actually going to do what it takes.
Do you think they do that to get you motivated? Like, oh, I know I'm one of the 50.
I don't know. It must be, because I was like, well, I feel like everybody here is probably thinking the same thing. Like, obviously, it's me.
You guys ever listen to Jordan Peterson?
Yeah,
I went up to listen to him speak in Port. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh,
I went up to listen to him speak, and he started the same way. He walked out and he's like, "Yeah, I just wrote a book, and it sold like 1 billion copies or whatever." And he's like, "You're probably all thinking that you should write a book, but nobody's going to read it, so don't write it." And in that moment, I was like, F you, I'm going to write a book. Like it pissed me off a little bit, but I love Jordan Peterson. And then he's right. Too. Probably no one is going to read my book, but that's all right. I'm going to write it anyway.
Heck yeah.
Dude, my biggest takeaway from Tom Bayou was he's like, none of this matters if your health is not there.
Well, yeah, your health is your wealth.
And then he just dove into like actual steps people can take. Like, and it was just like, it was one of the best speeches I've seen.
Yeah, I don't remember
everyone
do what?
I was just saying, then all the other speakers were like, I started I was a doctor or dentist, and I just started making so much money, and I started buying real estate. So you can make a ton of money and go buy real estate.
You're like, no, I'm not a dentist.
There were a lot of.
So why'd they have Quest? Why'd they have the Quest guy there at Raise Fest? He obviously raised a lot of money to grow Quest to what it was before they had their final exit.
I think he was just a good business owner. He was just. I mean, the keynote was just like, hey,
because he had $1 billion exit.
Yeah, no, he made a lot of money. Yeah.
Of course, they sell bars that are crap compared to the bars I used to make with my wife.
That's true. Shout out Live Bar.
But they have like pictures of donuts on them, so people actually buy them.
Well, that was his whole.
Healthy and
he was thinking of his family. He's like, they're not going to eat food that tastes like shit, so I'm not going to make it the healthiest. I'm going to make it healthier than alternatives, but still taste good. And he was like, because his family had diabetes or something.
It was a winning formula.
Yeah, it worked out well for him.
It worked out well.
All I know is I don't set an alarm anymore to wake up in the morning because he told me to not do that ever again.
Really?
Have twins, and you'll just wake up at 5 every day.
Well, so that's the weird thing. I still wake up early, but now it's whenever I want. He said to never set an alarm. He was like, sleep is the most important thing you have in life. So
big part of your health.
If you stay up too late, shouldn't have stayed up late. You better not set an alarm. You're going to be late to your day.
Did you stay in touch with Jordan after that event, or just call him once we had that deal?
Jordan? Yeah, we just texted back and forth.
Yeah,
we jumped on a call.
Yeah.
Because crazy part about how that happens is then we take Gabe to go watch AJ Osborne speak at Mike's event. I'm like, Gabe, you don't know who this guy is, but you have to come. We bring him there. He gets hyped up on storage. He comes on the podcast. He's like, Mike, let's race. First one to buy a storage complex wins. And we closed on that one. Like, we had it under contract 15 days, 30 days later. And we're like, and then we just happened to meet Jordan, who knew how to operate storage.
You have to manifest these things.
Absolutely.
You have to say it out loud. And it's good to say it in front of other people, because then it's like, we're going to buy a storage unit.
Mm-hmm. It was funny too, because I called we had our Fridays meeting, and I was like, here's how Twin Oaks is going, the acquisition of it, yada. Here's where we're at on everything. And I was like, and we don't know how to operate this. So I told Jordan that I just told you guys that I told him we would give him ownership in it. And Gabe was like, no, we're just going to pay him. And I was like, you don't know him. He's not going to do it. It'll be better for us, I promise. I mean, even if we make a little bit less money in OI, maybe, but I think he's going to increase it way more than we would unless we had him on board. So it makes more sense.
The right partnerships are magical.
Yeah.
And it's been great being partners with you, Jordan. You're a great partner.
I appreciate that.
So do you look at that deal and think, this is cool because we got a bunch of cheap land that we can build a lot of apartments on, or do you like it for the storage aspect?
Both. I mean, I love the location, obviously being right next to Oregon State. So if down the road that makes sense, I'm all for it. Oh. But then obviously kind of going back to owning cash flowing assets, if right now, if there's a value add aspect to it, and if, you can come in and, make $750,000 over 5 years, then cool.
Are you still hyper focused on cash flow? Is that the main benefit of real estate you're looking for?
No. Cash flow is obviously great, but what I've found is, having kind of a lot more of those equity pops. I mean, not that I've had any equity pops necessarily as a payout, because I'm so far just buy and hold. But when I look at my balance sheet,
well, you got the equity pop, you just didn't take the money out.
Correct. Yeah. So, seeing the scalability of the asset class, like I said, you go in and you can raise rents $10-15 on 200 units, and you're like, man, I just increased the value of this property $250,000 or $400,000. So I love the asset from an operation standpoint and a scalability standpoint. And then I know now that I've owned for going on 7 years and just seeing how the cash flow increases, year over year, I'm like, man, I just need to buy and hold, let my tenants pay down my debt, and I'll wake up and have a lot of money one day.
One day.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you have a lot of money yet. You feel like you're still doing it for tomorrow?
Well, I should say I have the stability in my life, which is great. But as you have more kids and I'm pretty frugal as is, but try not to have necessarily too much life
Whoa, excuse me. Did you hit the button on our
I don't
machine
know
there?
where it's at. Sorry.
Which one is it?
There you go.
We have to disinfect Trevor's microphone now.
That's foul.
I'm the only one who uses this one, so it's okay.
Keep going.
Well, for example, like my dream, my vision is like I live right across the street from a little airport in Merlin, Oregon.
Oh, you want an airplane?
And I would love to just have my own airplane and where I can walk across and.
Wait a second. Are you a pilot?
No, I've always wanted to be a pilot. So
We need a pilot.
I'll get my license and I'll be your pilot.
We need you to get lots and lots of hours so that we can fly an airplane.
I can do that. I'll do it.
That'd be sick.
I would fly with Jordan as the pilot. I would not fly with Dane. Dane,
About Trevor?
no, definitely not Trevor.
Definitely not Trevor.
Have you seen his
crashed the
Prius? It's hit everything but the lottery. So Dane wants to be a pilot, but Trevor and I just say no. There's just no way we would fly with Dane. I don't know if we can trust him. So
Okay.
you could be a backup in case Jordan has a heart attack or something.
I would
You
trust
can fly
Jordan
the
to fly.
plane.
In our order of which partners should get their pilot's license,
Mark.
It would be Mark
Then
first.
Gabe.
Yeah, but Mark's
Then
going to fall
Gabe.
asleep. He's too tired.
Well, okay, that's a good point. Mark and Gabe are tied. Mark can only do short flights. And then it would be me, and then it would be Trevor. But
No.
Trevor's below the threshold of should ever fly a plane because he shouldn't drive cars. I think Trevor's going to get his license revoked at like 40. But
I actually did get a letter that I was getting my license taken away.
Turns out.
I would trust Jordan substantially more than myself to fly an airplane. I would agree with that. I don't know why.
He's the steady, calm
Yeah.
guy in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've wanted to have my pilot's license since I was like 12. And it's kind of for a while I wanted to be a pilot like in the Air Force, and ended up going and playing baseball and doing other things. But yeah, for me, it's like visions of where I want to be is if I can have my own little plane, I can where my house is, I can walk across the street to my hangar, get my plane, fly to a property, come home, be home for dinner, and then just the luxury, of bouncing around, seeing family and everything. So, from a modest standpoint, cash flow I'm financially free, but
Weren't you financially free though after your first one?
Well, yeah, but then when you start having kids and add
They're
expenses,
expensive, I
and then
heard,
I'm like, crap, college is going to cost a lot, even though I'm not going to want them to go to college necessarily. But yeah, just added expenses and stuff. So
You're not excited for your kids to go to school? Depends on what they want to do, I guess.
I will support them in whatever, but I'm a big believer in continuing education throughout your life. But yeah, it's. If you're going to go to school, it's like, obviously you're going to specialize in something. Don't just get a marketing degree like I did.
Yeah, one of my professors told me and I loved this, it's probably the only thing I learned, was that you go to college to learn how to learn.
Yep.
And if you think you're going to get out of here and stop learning, then you miss the whole point, because the point is to get there and learn how to actually learn.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I got my degree in marketing, and then now all I do every day is underwrite deals and do, finance. And so, yeah.
I don't know. You came up with a pretty cool sign for our storage complex.
That's true.
That's marketing.
Our rebrand was pretty cool on Twin Oaks. I like all of our signs.
Did you have a hand in that, or was that Mark?
That one might have been Mark.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Mark loves the marketing side too.
I do.
Yeah.
I threw out, I haven't actually seen it. I was talking to Devin, and I had kind of had some different names, ideas and stuff, but
You seem like you're the personality type to be an operations guy. Like you seem like, it's interesting because you wear a lot of hats. You want to be acquisitions, but you are so conservative and you really like to maximize a property once you have it. How is your relationship with your partner that you're doing your other deals with? Is he a little bit more of a gas pedal in the sense of trying to chase deals, or how do you guys accentuate your styles?
yeah. So with that business partner is just on the one property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't take him for you actually own your other properties, just you?
Well, I have a couple other partners on another one.
Okay.
And then the one under contract that I'm about to buy will be me. So,
Okay. Do you like partners?
if it's the right partners. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you had the wrong ones?
No, no, but I think everyone you have to have your role and know where your lane is essentially. And what's hard is because I have been the operator, like you mentioned, I've kind of been in that side of the day-to-day and controlling it. So now trying to, with my most recent acquisition, I'm trying to be completely out of it and giving high-level oversight, but letting them do a lot of the day-to-day is a new skill I have to
So you're
learn.
trying to delegate a little bit.
Yeah, and that's
Get out of the weeds.
Yeah, that's my biggest right now. It's like in order to scale and grow more, kind of like you guys talk when I listen to the podcast, like with Mark, is he works so much,
Yeah,
and it's like focus on that that's gonna bring in highest value, right? So I have that balance right now where I should probably have like more of an operations manager for a lot more of my properties, and be out of that and just focus on acquisitions. But then when I look at, oh man, I'm going to have to pay 50, 60, 70,000 for a good operations manager.
you got to get big enough to be
Yeah.
able to hand that off and have it make sense.
Right. So kind of that question of earlier about, not feeling like the cash flow or the equity's there yet is, it's more so like for my own personal life, if I'm in it, I'm there, but to scale and hire more of a team around it.
Is that what you're trying to do? Build out a team, and
Yeah.
do you have like a goal of units you're trying to get or equity you're trying to build or anything?
Not necessarily. I just want to keep buying. I like to buy a property every single year, and then as I grow, just obviously scale out the team that allows me to be out of the day to day, and then I can just be more high level oversight.
So why only one a year versus like 2 a year, 3 a year, 4 a year?
Why not all of them?
Are you not a real?
Yeah. Why?
Are you not a real deal junkie, Jordan? Trevor does not understand what you're talking
spending
about.
a lot of work though to find like one deal, right? Like because you're spending like this is your not full time, but you're spending a lot of hours on this.
Yeah. I think 21, 22, 23 for storage, we had like just that COVID bubble where everything's trading at 4 cap and people are buying deals because storage is the best asset class to own. You can't lose money. Well, now I was kind of on pause and I knew like I'm not going to, numbers aren't penciling right now.
Yeah.
And I was able to find a couple that still had the value add even at that higher price point.
And you didn't buy them though?
No, like the one my second deal I did.
Okay. Yeah.
So and our going in cap rate, I think we bought it at like a 4.3 cap, which is just stupid. But I saw the value right away. So, but I knew that wasn't going to last forever. Now there's more blood in the water, and sellers are kind of starting to come down to reality. So,
Where's the blood in storage? Like who's getting in trouble on storage?
a lot of people that did syndications, they overpaid.
They bought for fees.
Yeah, they wanted their AC fee, and the biggest thing too is 21, 22 interest rates are 3%. People are moving all over the country. Well, when interest rates go to 7%, people stop moving. That's the biggest demand for storage. So when your occupancies across the nation are sitting at 96%, and then they drop to 80%, that your revenue is not what you're projecting.
So you're saying storage follows the residential real estate cycle in terms of activity in the market. When people are moving around, storage stays full. When people sit still, the storage is not as full.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, people, obviously, when rates are low, people are up, trading out their starter home 3-2 across town to get a bigger home, and they need storage temporarily as they're transitioning. And then during COVID, people were moving all over the country for different reasons. So there was just a lot more of that flow within the housing space. So not that that's the end all be all of the need, but that's definitely a big impact, and that's why we're seeing a mix of people developing quite a bit more. There's been more developments in the last 5 years than ever before. So added supply.
You think it got overbuilt a little?
So storage is completely like on a micro level. You can be in one market, could be oversupplied, and one can be under. So typically we'll look at like a 1 to 3, 5 mile radius of a facility. But there's definitely, I would say, there's a lot of places that have been overbuilt.
Is there a metric you use for like population versus how many units you need, or?
Yeah, so square feet per capita. So, basically, how many square feet per people in an area. On a 5 mile radius, I want to see a population at a bare minimum of 10,000 people, and that's low, but that's like an absolute bare minimum for me. And then like square feet per capita, very generally speaking, because every market's different. But if you're under 10 square feet per capita, I would say the market's undersupplied.
10 square feet per person?
Yeah. And then from like a...
So 10,000 people, if you have 100,000 square feet of storage, you're undersupplied or you're right in equilibrium?
I would say that's typically undersupplied.
So if you're 100,000 or below, you've got a market you want to go into. If you're 100,000 or over, you start to dig in a little deeper.
Yeah.
And say, this might be overbuilt.
Well, it's really easy to build 100,000 square feet of storage.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Because I'll look at, I was looking at a property, I think last week, and on a 5 mile radius, this square feet per capita was, like a 7. But they had 3 developments coming in, adding 300,000 square feet. Now it jumps up to 16 or whatever it was. So, yeah, I'll kind of have those metrics.
That's why they're building them.
Yeah, right.
They saw the 7 and they said, let's go build.
Yeah, and that's a very general number because like Boise, where AJ Osborne's at, Idaho has square feet per capita over 20, but there's facilities everywhere and such a demand out there. So that's where it's really important to really dive into the competition. Focus on. Hey, I kind of secret shopped the market. Every single facility, 10 by 10s, 10 by 15s, 10 by 20s are completely full, but everyone has 5 by 10s available. So really knowing, for that area, what unit size is in demand, and then obviously a total supply in general.
Going back to like you trying to buy more deals, right now, what is the prohibiting factor of you buying more? Is it finding the deals or raising the money or the deals aren't right?
He's asking for your bottleneck.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. For me, obviously, finding more deals that have that value add component.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
So when on the deals you're calling now, do they not have that, or you just can't get them to the terms you need? Because you're calling plenty of deals and reaching out to plenty, right?
Yeah. It's getting price or terms that I need. Right. They still want $2.5 million, and I say, hey, based on if I go conventional financing, I can offer 1.7. I'll pay you $2 million. I'll pay you 2.2 if the terms are right. But then they don't want to own or carry. So it's having to coach them through that. Like right now, I've been working this deal for like a year and a half. It's like 16,000 square feet, small facility, but on a square foot basis, I mean, their rates are so unbelievably low, but they want their price. They want to live on the property. And I was like, okay, let's get creative. They're willing to owner finance, but I'm like, let's get creative and come up with something that makes sense. So,
and you just can't come to agreement on they want a higher interest rate, basically, or
that one, it's kind of they want their cake and eat it too.
Who doesn't?
Have you thought about leaving them in the deal with you so they could see part of the upside on it?
That one, no, not yet. And honestly, I think the way that I structure it was probably the best deal that they're going to get.
Yeah, so you'll buy it later.
Yeah. But I kind of have to coach them through on how I structure it and why it would make sense to them. So,
it's important to communicate so you can show them not only why you came up with your terms and your price, but how it affects them and could work for them.
Right.
But they want their price and their terms.
Yeah.
So you might have just wasted a year and a half.
But like you guys know, it's a long game. It might take 2 years, 5 years.
Oh yeah. Trevor chases deals for years all the time.
I just like telling them too, like, this is how much money I want to make and plan to make and why I'm buying this. And like, I'm buying this to make money. And they're like, that makes sense. Dude, I've been chasing a deal. We're looking. It's a little too small now. It's on the coast, and me and Dane went and walked it 3 years ago. Oh. Yeah, and now they're coming back and like wanting to do the deal, but it's owned in a C corp. And
double tax.
Yeah. So they want us to do it creatively and buy it in a C corp or buy interest in their C corp, and we're the only ones willing to explore that because everyone else is like mind blown. Like, well, how do I do that? And now they're coming back. I'm like, well. We were doing an installment sale originally. It's like a $3 million property. We're putting like $500,000 down or something, and we're buying a 3 cap, and it's overpriced. I'm like, this is worth 1.5 right now. People will probably pay you 2.2 to 2.4 because there is a value add perspective to it. And now the attorney's like, well, we can't do an installment sale because we're 3 years later and she needs more money now, so that doesn't work. It would have worked then. I'm like, okay, like we'll pay you 2 for it, but like that's the best we can do, and they have no one else to do. I'm like, this is like all I can do to profit. Like, I'm sorry. And so like, I think we'll buy the deal because no one else is going to do it. And I'm just like, I plan to make $1 million from doing this.
How do you do that in a C? You're buying the C corp?
Yeah. So I've learned a lot on this. So a couple of ways you can do it. And I don't know all the tax codes and whatnot. They've been saying it to me, and then I run it through ChatGPT and verify some of it. I think they're actually putting their seller at risk of getting taxed later the way they want to do it. But I was just making sure it doesn't affect us.
Because just for our listeners, a C corp,
double taxation.
You never want to own real estate in a C corp because then you pay the cap gains and your corporation ends up paying the tax also.
Yep, correct.
So you pay tax twice.
So if we buy the C corp, then I called the lender and we can finance it. So we can buy it in a C corp. We can buy out their C corp essentially. Now we own the C corp.
But then we can never sell it.
No, but so there's a process to convert it to an LLC.
Convert out.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they do that?
Well, now they're too late. They should have. They should have. But it was elderly lady, and she didn't know, and they just set it up in a C corp 20 years ago, and then never thought about it.
Did they buy? So they bought it like with one of their companies or something, or they just set the C corp up when they bought it?
Someone told them to buy it in a C corp like however long ago.
Their dad owned a bunch of companies in the area.
Oh, is that what it was?
So my guess is that I don't know this for sure. I know that part's true. And so my guess is that he was just running businesses in a C corp.
And at one point, he was probably trying to do some sort of tax dodge. Yeah, and he bought it with one of the companies for a tax dodge.
If we do it, we buy the C corp and then we go and convert it. Potentially, it looks as a disguised sale, which is what they're trying to do. And if you do it too soon, then the seller has to go pay that double taxation on it.
But potentially, we'll be buying like a roofing company too. So you gotta take that into account.
The problem is though, you now take on all the liability of that corporation. Yes, but we can buy it. We can create a new C corp and then purchase it, remove the liability. But then we have the double taxation, have to go through the process. It's either like you can do it immediately or do like a 5-year process or something like that.
What a nightmare.
I don't know. I just want to buy the deal. And well, I looked at it. It only costs like an extra $50,000 to do. So it's just math of like,
does it pencil?
Isn't everything?
Yeah. But now it's like, it just sucks for that lady because we offered her everything she needed on the front end, and she was super excited because she's self-managed. She's like, I would love to do this. And
her daughter's sick deal.
Her daughter was there, man. She's like, please buy this. Yes, that works for us. And then they take it to the attorney, and then the attorney kills the deal, and then they take it to the market. And then none of the brokers can sell the deal for them. And now we're back 3 years later, and I've been contacting her like every 6 months, like, hey, we would still love to buy this.
Is there a nice way we can explain to her that attorneys are not helping her and her family?
Dude, do you know how big of a bill they've racked up in 3 years? They've probably made like $200,000.
Wow.
Like the attorney, yeah. I bet we've made the attorney like $40,000 because we've talked to the attorney a bunch too. I've called the attorney like 3 times. I don't even really know what the deal is.
Wow.
I was like, can you call? This guy's not answering my phone, but I want to buy this deal down on the coast, and I just need you to say this to him. And I'm like, hey, I'll give him a call.
All right, Jaren's texting me right now because we got to close on a duplex in between episodes.
All right, Trevor and I got to go sign some docs. We sold something. Sell is a 4-letter word. We're not supposed to sell, but for some reason we sold something. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about it right now real quick.
Don't talk about it.
We bought a 4-plex, divided off lot, had free and clear lot, gave it to Jaren. No money in. We bought hard money, 100% leverage. I had to spend $40,000 to build a sidewalk.
And you made Jaren pay for it.
And then Jaren, no.
Jaren paid us back for the sidewalk.
Yeah. And then Jaren went and leveraged it and then so from close date of the land on the loan to building and selling the duplex under 6 months.
And
That's pretty crazy.
we also signed on the debt with Jaron to help him build his first duplex, which he did a fantastic job, by the way. He built a beautiful building, and we got it sold. How long? 6 months? Under 6 months?
Under 6 months from
Close to close.
Close to close.
That's an amazing deal.
Good job, Jaron.
Yeah.
Way to
Now
go, Jerry.
he's out here trying to negotiate us for a higher percentage. So we got
He made you guys a lot of money.
we made him a lot of
He
money.
proved he can do it.
Yeah.
Do you know why this is a good deal? Hey, tell him this is a good deal, because who would let an unexperienced person go sign on debt with them to do their first duplex build project? Super high risk for us.
Not really.
Right, Jordan?
You know Jerry.
Right, Jordan?
No, you knew Jerry was going to do it.
Oh, yeah, we knew he was
Yeah,
going
you
to
had
do it.
trust on it. You had trust in him.
And I knew if he couldn't, Chad would help.
It's a resume builder.
That's true. You did have a good fallback plan.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this episode up. Jordan, thanks so much for joining us. Jordan Brown's on the show. This is coach for Storage Life. He's a storage aficionado. He also owns other commercial assets. We're going to come. Are we going to come back and do a follow-up episode?
We're going to talk about a deal we're trying to work out with Jordan. But if people want to reach you to get storage coaching, you help people do deals across the nation. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can email me at jordan@storagelife.com.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Thanks for being with us today, Jordan.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening, Deal Junkies. We love you. Please share us, and we will see you next time.